Hi, everyone. I'm Colleen, and I am back for another live stream brought to you, of course, by the awesome people over at Princess Dental Staffing. So happy to see everyone on this Monday. And of course, if you couldn't watch this when the stream was live, so glad that you got to watch the video later. So each week, we're bringing you another stream which talks about starting and or maintaining your career in the dental industry. So if you don't want to miss out on future streams, be sure to follow our page or subscribe to our channel. If you have any questions, thoughts, insights about the content that we're bringing you, be sure to comment below. And if we couldn't get to the comment when this stream was live, of course, we will answer as soon as possible. Okay. And if you want to learn more about the content that we're bringing you, be sure to check out Princess Dental Staffing's website, princessdentalstaffing.com, where you can take a look at their blog, read their blog posts, and it's also super easy to create a profile and start searching for jobs. Okay. So happy everyone is here with me on this Wednesday. I hope everyone is having a wonderful, wonderful holiday season thus far. Okay, so let's jump into today's topic. Today's topic, we're talking about how to improve your dental office communication. Okay, so we're going to be talking about communication in the dental office, how you can improve it. But before we start getting into our tips for how to improve your communication, let's first start off by talking about why communication in the dental office is important, okay? And it's important. So it's important essentially because if you have bad communication in your dental office, there's going to be a huge disconnect between your teams, right? Between your front office personnel, between your dental assistants, your dental hygienists, and the dentist, right? There's going to be a huge disconnect there, and that can lead to, work not getting done, maybe work getting done several different times and just kind of wasting time doing the same thing over and over again. It just ends up creating a very disorganized environment. And that's exactly what we don't want, right? So office communication, dental office communication is super, super important because it helps create, it helps us streamline and organize our processes and make sure everything runs smoothly. And it also helps us provide the best possible care for our patients, which is exactly what we want to do. That's why we're in the dental industry, right? So that's why it's important. So we're going to jump into our tips. So tip number one, clearly communicate your company goals. Okay, so all of your team members, all of your teams, all your team members should know your company goals. Okay, you should communicate often your mission statement, your vision statement, and make sure that your team members know that information. Okay, and it's never too early to start. Make sure you mention that as early as the interview process, right? When you're interviewing potential new employees for your dental office. Okay, and that way they know right off the bat, this is what the goals are and this is what's going to be expected of you. And that way it gives you a better chance of hiring someone who will help meet those goals as well, okay? And not just the potential employees either. You want to talk to your employees often about your company goals. You can mention them in your performance reviews if you have those. Which I highly recommend that you do. You can also mention them in your team meetings, so make sure you're mentioning them often. And what that's going to do, it's going to help steer the office in the right direction and make sure everyone is on the same page about, what they're working towards, okay? So that's tip number one. Tip number two, praise employees for good work, okay? Study after study after study shows that employees who feel respected and valued in their workplaces do their best work, and they're also much more likely to stick around longer as well, okay? So make sure that you're praising your employees often. It's also really great way to help build that rapport with your team members, with your employees, and build that trust, okay, which is so, so important, okay? When you build that rapport and when you build that trust and you make your employees feel valued and respected, they're also more likely to communicate with you, okay? They're more likely to come to you when something is wrong or when they're missing something or when something, just needs to get done or they have questions or things of that nature. So they're more likely to communicate with you, which of course contributes to office communication, which of course contributes again to having those streamlined processes and giving your patients the best care. Okay, so make sure that you're praising your employees for their good work. Okay. Number 3, hold a morning meeting every day. Excuse me. Hold a morning meeting every day. Okay. And this helps make sure that all of your team members, all of your employees are on the same page. Even if it's just for 10 to 15 minutes, it really can go a long way to making sure that everybody's on the same page and that everybody's moving in the same direction. It's a great way to communicate changing or updated information and to make sure that everyone knows their responsibilities and their tasks and their individual goals for the day. Okay, so it's a really great way to kind of communicate that information to everyone at the same time and give them the opportunity to respond as well. It also gives your team members the opportunity to let you know if something isn't working or if there's an issue or something like that. Okay, so morning meetings are very important. I definitely don't recommend just shooting out an email. I mean, obviously, email is a really great tool to communicate with people, but sometimes you really do need that back and forth. It's really helpful. So morning meetings, even if they're just 10 to 15 minutes long, can go a long way to really building that communication in your dental office. Okay. Next, focus on one-on-one communication as well. So group communication in your morning meetings, that's great. That's an excellent thing to do, but make sure that one-on-one communication is also happening in your dental office as much as possible all throughout your day. Make sure that you are, having a little bit of one-on-one communication with each of your employees on a daily basis. Okay, so this gives you an opportunity. Again, it gives you an opportunity to build that rapport and build that trust with your employees, which opens the lines of communication. It also gives them the opportunity to let you know, again, if they're having trouble with something, if they need help with something, or if they have some questions or concerns as well. So really important to make sure you have time for that one-on-one communication as well. It also gives you the opportunity to learn about who the employee is outside of work, right? Outside of the dental office. And when you know kind of a little bit about their habits, their hobbies, what they do when they're not working, again, really helps you build that trust and build those relationships with those employees as well. So, really important to, build those relationships and build and open those lines of communication with your employees. Okay. Next, use repetition. So a lot of times what can happen is, especially if there's like changing information or, if a process is changed, sometimes what can happen is you kind of mention it once in a meeting and then it's just kind of never brought up again, right? It's just, this process is changing, go forth and do good things. And then you don't bring it up again. But here's the thing, change is hard for everyone, for every single person. Some of us more than others. But change is hard for everyone. It's, especially if it's a new process or a new way of doing things in your dental office. So you want to make sure that you repeat the information as much as possible so that it helps your team members kind of get on board with the change and to make sure that the change happens smoothly. Okay. So make sure that you're bringing it up more than once, okay? And make sure you're checking up on your individual employees. Again, that one-on-one communication and, of course, those group communications to ensure that those changes are being implemented well and that you're addressing any questions or concerns that may come up due to those changes, okay? So make sure that you're doing that. And then, of course, repetition as well also works well, again, for, mentioning your company mission statement, your company, values and your goals as well. Make sure you're repeating over and over again. Okay. So that, it kind of gets committed to memory and everyone, is on the same page and that they're moving towards the same targets. Okay. So those are our tips for improving your dental office communication. Okay. Again, again, the communication is really, really important to help, again, streamline those processes, make sure they're running smoothly, and give your patients the best possible care. But let's kind of review before we wrap up, okay? Tip number one, clearly communicate your company goals. Again, you can do this, make sure you do this in the interviews, right, for your potential employees, so they know what you're about and they have a good idea coming on board, where their focuses should be, and make sure you repeat it in, performance reviews, in morning meetings and team meetings, what have you, so that everyone remembers and everyone's on the same page. Number two, praise employees for good work. Employees who feel valued and respected are more likely to communicate with you. Okay, so that helps build that communication and let you know when something is wrong right when it, an issue arises, as opposed to much later, right? Number three, hold a morning meeting every day. Again, just 10 to 15 minutes can make a huge difference in everyone's day. Okay. So just 10 to 15 minutes, make sure everyone knows what their responsibilities and their tasks are, what their focuses are for the day, and give them the opportunity to mention any questions or any concerns that they have. Number four, focus on one-on-one communication. Make sure you're checking in with each of your employees on a daily basis, okay? Make sure that you're checking in with them, give them the opportunity to ask questions, bring up concerns, and make sure that you're connecting with them on a personal level to help build that relationship and build that trust. And number five, utilize repetition. Make sure you're repeating information over and over again. Your company mission, your values, what the tasks and responsibilities and focuses are, especially if it's a change in process, especially if it's a change in the way you're doing things or just changes in the office, okay? Because again, everyone needs help, a little bit of help with change, some of us more than others, but being repetitive can really help that stick in everyone's brain and make sure that everyone's on the same page. I got a question coming in here. What are the best ways to remind your employees of your company goals? Great question, Taylor. So again, we talked about communicating them verbally, in interviews and in meetings and performance reviews. You can also have them posted in your office somewhere as well. You can actually, get them printed up, made really pretty and framed, and post them in your office where people are going to, your employees are going to walk by it all the time and see it all the time, and help remind that as well. Okay, so you can have it printed different places as well. Instead of, well, not instead of, but in addition to is what I meant to say, mentioning it in, like I said, those group communications and those one-on-one communications as well. So that's a great question. Yep. So those are our tips for improving your dental office communications. I hope that was helpful and informative to everyone. And again, if you have any questions or have any thoughts or insights on the information that we covered today, be sure to comment below and we will get to your comment as soon as possible. But thank you everyone for tuning in today. I hope everyone is enjoying this holiday season, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful new year. I will see you next year. Yes, I know it's a cheesy joke, but it tickles me every time. I will be back next week, which is next year, with a new topic. Until then, have a great week. Have a great weekend. Have a great New Year's. Stay safe, everyone, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.